What's up, fight fans? Roscoe's Picks here, and tonight we have the privilege of sitting down with a man who, on the 10th of April, defied all odds. He is a warrior who has been forged in the fires of both the squared circle and the unforgiving cage. He's a man who returned from a 6-year MMA hiatus to snatch the heavyweight title in the EFC in a victory that shook up the MMA world. He is a titan. He is a boxer. He's an MMA fighter. And I think most importantly, the new EFC Heavyweight Champion of the world, Elvis the Bomber Moyo. Welcome to the show, and thank you so much for joining me this evening, Elvis.
Smashing, my champ. Smashing.
How does it feel? I mean, it's been 5 days since you won the belt. Has it sunk in yet that you are an EFC Heavyweight Champion?
Yeah. Long past that, I'm still dealing with a couple of bruises here and there. And, I took a couple of nice leg kicks. And I took a couple of elbows. So, yeah, I'm still dealing with that. Because of adrenaline that goes away during the fight and the day after. And then 2-3 days later, it's just a small injury there. You start feeling it there, like, what? Oh, yeah, he hit me there. And then something comes up and like, oh, by the way, he hit me there. But no, it's just all blessings, man.
Excellent. Yeah, I think we will definitely talk about the title fight, Elvis. But I think before we get really stuck into the fight that happened last week, Thursday, for those people that may not be familiar with your background, can you maybe share a little bit about how you first got involved in combat sports?
That's a long story, my champ. That's a long story. But yeah, I come from the location in Zim, in Bulawayo, Zim. And it's all fighting in the streets, like I was actually talking to my girlfriend about the school days, and I said, you see, during our school days as primary education, the girls will always ask each other who's beautiful, who's dressed nicely. Boys, it was always who beats the world class. So who beats the world class? So like it was, and by the time you hear of the story, you ranked number 3. You've never fought anyone, but for some reason there was that ranking. So with us, street fighting, no weapons was like order of the day. So I started there. I started with karate, and by 2002, I made boxing, jumped into amateur boxing, and then I just started pushing that. And obviously with this, scarce of promoters from Zim and promoters being choosy in SA, I struggled to fight more. But when I won the title, I still struggled. But at that time, it was around 2012, 13, and MMA was like, okay, EFC, I was like, okay, I gotta get myself there. Like, those guys are fighting always, man. Then let me go and fight there. See what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's interesting. And so you've had quite a long and illustrious career, and you touched on boxing being the first form of combat sport that you did. And let's talk a little bit about your boxing career. You have a professional record of 9 wins and 6 defeats as a professional boxer. And I think a lot of people don't know that you actually won a WBF African heavyweight title in 2013. You had your pro debut in 2008 against Ilunga Makabu, and I think Ilunga Makabu is a name that a lot of people are familiar with. He's gone on to have a fantastic boxing career. How did you balance your time between boxing and MMA? Did you have to take a break from one sport to pursue the other? How did you get that balance right?
Well, it was more or less one after the other, but the record, you see, the record is people don't understand. In SA, I am a foreigner. So when I came here, I was a scapegoat, a stepping stone.
I see.
Never expected to amount to anything. So my first 3-4 boxing fights, I was put in Ilunga Makabu was given 1 week notice.
Sure.
Fighting. Flo Simba, he was sensational. The heavyweight cottage. I got at least 6 weeks, and I showcased that, okay, I can take care of myself, and things started turning around. So, but then around 2012, I got a sponsor, Brunel Laboratories, Elevate, and then I met Head Strido. And then everything changed because now, because I've got a sponsor, my training, my concentration in the gym was way better. They actually put me off work for the whole year. And that's when everything changed. So when I got to MMA, after the first 3 fights, people started talking, you need to go back to boxing because I'd already become a WPF boxing champion. So when I got into MMA, I had that name, former boxing champion, we're beating a champion. But people don't know as well. I beat Sos Kropla when we were sitting at 7 fights. My second fight was against Andrew Van Zyl. We had already fought for a title. And I fought Brendan Groenewald, who had already fought for a title. So those were my first 2 losses. And people judged me on those, but they didn't see that I was actually fighting #1 contenders on my second fight. So they wrote me off as well. But anyway, when I tried to balance the things, Boxing South Africa sadly said, no, they didn't understand MMA. So they said MMA is not safe, MMA is brutal, MMA, and they made excuses, and then they said I couldn't do both. And then later, Boyd Allen rises, and then I see Boyd Allen boxing and doing MMA. I'm like, okay. But they hated that. I told them the fact. I said, you see, in boxing, we do medical tests, HIV, hepatitis, once a year. In MMA, I do it every 3 months. Results expire after 3 months, which is safer. Which is safer now. Because MMA, I get tested every 3 months.
Yeah.
Boxing once a year.
Mm.
There you go. So I didn't care about that. I was glad to be fighting in MMA. I started fighting in MMA, and then I've got reasons. I think some of people now are aware. I never shared them. Why I moved back into boxing in around 2017, and then I moved back to boxing, and then now I'm come back to MMA again because I sorted the reasons I had then back then.
Okay, it's interesting, and I think, especially for people who maybe only watched you fight for the first time last week, Thursday, I think they would have seen that you have very much a boxing approach when it comes to MMA. I mean, your jab was phenomenal in your fight against Anthony Morel. And I want to ask you, Elvis, how do you feel your boxing experience has influenced your MMA style and your approach to MMA?
Boxing is my life. I'm boxing. I'm walking boxing. When I spoke to Anthony Morel in the press conference, he said, because I didn't have ground or whatever expression he made, and he said it's going to be an easy fight. I said, you're mistaken one thing. I've already approached my fights, all my fights, the same way. I'm a specialist in what I do. I need to learn your world, but to execute my results and get my results, I need to do what I do best. So I said to him, I'm going to box you, I'm going to hit you, and then you're going to understand. But on the other hand, I'm training your world to defend. I need to get down. I know you're going to take me down, whether I like it or not. You're going to take me down to the ground. I need to learn to get up. So that's all I did in my last camp. Getting up, get up, get up. As Van Damboy, Temba, Kumalo, Champ, James Kemmel, Champ, Marshall Diaz, get up. All you need is to get up. So for the first time I fight a man, I get to the ground, I don't panic. I'm okay because I know I'm going to get up. And when I get up, what do I want to do? I want to hit him. I want to hit him up.
Yeah. And look, I think
I'm a
you were
specialist
successful.
in hitting. Yes.
You were very successful in that fight with getting up. And we're definitely going to we're definitely going to chat about that fight. And I mean, just looking back on your MMA career, I've been following EFC for many, many, many years. And I remember some of the wars that you've been in. I mean, the one that comes to mind for me, and I think it will come to mind for many EFC fans that are going to be watching this interview, is your fight against Andrew Van Zyl for the second time at EFC 54. That fight was, really electric. And you went away from MMA for a while, you decided to come back, and your return has been nothing short of remarkable. After 6 years away from the sport, what motivated you to return to MMA?
Anthony Morel. But I was motivated by Triple H when after I fought Van Damme and he stepped up into the ring, and I was like, okay, if you can disrespect me like that, it means you don't know me. So I went back to the gym. I had in mind, I did an interview after Van Damme's fight, and I said, he called me, I accept the challenge. So that's always been there in the books. Of course, he went off the rails for whatever reason, but ever since then, I was inspired. So I started training, and then obviously there was another organization that tried to get us to do bare knuckle, because all that mattered was for me to fight him. I didn't want to do nothing else, but that inspired me to get back in the gym. And then as I was training, and started getting fitter, as soon as I started talking to EFC, I said, you know what, you are my home. I know you are a place I can call and say I need a fight, I can get a fight, because you've seen what I can do. And because of Andrew Van Zyl's fight in 2016, the people have always had an interview me, asked me about that fight, and then some of you haven't seen it, and then they check and say, but you lost that fight, you didn't win the title. And I said, no, it's not about the title. That fight, up until you watch it, you understand. If you don't watch it and you look at the results, you'll say, no, they fought and then he lost. But why is it being talked about? So my fight with them was always, to me, winning is okay. Losing is never okay, but to me, it means nothing. But fighting a man who's going to be stubborn, who's going to stand, who's going to get back up, who's going to fight, who's going to get people singing and shouting throughout the night, that's what inspires me to fight. That's all I need in a fight game. So when I was talking to Anton Morel, I told him, I said, if you're going to last one round, I'm going to spit in your face. But if you're going to last 2, 3, 4 rounds, I'm going to shake your hand. And I shook his hand because I saw him take shots. And I saw him look at my face, and I saw him break down, but not wanting to give up. Like in his head, was like, how do I give up from this guy who I saw in the last fight? He was fat and he hasn't fought in many years. How do I give up to that? But you see, that's the thing. He was fighting, was being a warrior. So to me, that makes it memorable.
Absolutely, absolutely. I think if the EFC ever does come out with a Hall of Fame, you are definitely going to be in it. And I think your fight against Andrew Van Zyl at EFC 54 and your fight against Anthony Morel last week, Thursday, I think both of those fights will belong in the EFC Hall of Fame 100%, because
wait until you see the fight against Chikasa.
We're going to chat about that. And you know what, Elvis, I have an opinion about that fight, and I don't think you're going to like my opinion, but we're going to chat about it. Okay, we're going to chat about it. We've said it. 6 years away from the sport. What were some of the challenges that you faced when you were preparing for Anthony Morel, this young guy who you knew was going to be heavy on the ground? What were some of the challenges that you experienced whilst you were preparing for this fight?
Yeah, basically, it's only 2 challenges, which was financially and the weight. Financially, I got good sponsors. They came on board, they phoned me, they started helping from way back. Natural mineral water, Iron Brew Nutrition, Nixon Simata, to name but a few, Rachway Foundation, like Rachway Respa, like they came on board and said, Champ, those are the people that have watched basically said, you know what, we believe in you, we're going to step up, we're going to make sure that you were doing. So from there, the fight became honestly, the people missed the point. I don't know how they figured I can no longer fight. How is that possible? I'm a born fighter. That does not mean that I can't defend my kids. I can't do I can't defend myself in a fight. I can still fight. The only difference is that I'm a raw person. When I step into the ground, into the gym, and I start training, muscle memory, my mentality just switches from 0 to 100 just like that. Like, you got no idea. Like in the house here, they watched me have yogurt for breakfast, lunch, and supper while he's training 2 sessions a day. They couldn't believe, like, how is that possible? I said, it's all here for me. And here, I'm 100%. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah, so it wasn't about the fighting with me. The fighting, I was sorted in that I can still fight any day of the week. But going back to the gym takes me above most of average people.
Of course, you're right. And I think just touching on what you said now, your mindset must have been so strong to come back after 6 years and to overcome those challenges. And speaking of your mindset, what was your mindset going into this fight? Because not a lot of people have 6 years away from a sport and then go in getting something like a title fight. And the stakes were so high for you going into this fight. What was your mindset going into it last week, Thursday?
Basically, my champ is I don't know how to explain this to you. It's excitement, like super excited to fight and nothing else. Like I don't know how to explain it, but it's just excitement. Like, people won't understand how I'm putting it, but it's just excitement. I don't know. It's just I'm excited to get into the cage. I'm excited to fight. I really never thought about the belt. I really never thought about the win. I thought about getting into the cage. I thought about the weight, making 120. So I make 120. Then after weighing on Wednesday, honestly, as soon as I started thinking, like, oh, I'm fighting tomorrow. Oh, this title, I need to win the title. But before then, I promise you, I really was desperate to get into the cage and fight.
Yeah, I can believe that.
Yeah,
I can believe that. And let's talk a little bit about the title fight against Anthony Morel. It was, I definitely think it was a back and forth battle for the 4 rounds, 1, 2, and 3. And, leading up to the end of the fight, I remember you landed a beautiful uppercut that it appeared to have done some damage to his nasal orbital bone area, and he didn't really like that. And we saw at the end of round 3, Anthony Morel sat on his stool for that 1-minute break between rounds. And when the ref tried to start round 4, he sort of walked up to you, waving his hand, signaling that he didn't want to be a part of it anymore. And I could see in the moment you were just very ready. You wanted to touch gloves and get going again. What was going through your mind in that moment? Did you think that the fight was over when he walked up to you, signaling, "I'm done"?
No. So I have fun when I fight. I'll hold you, I'll pet you, I'll do the thing. So I figured you wanted to do that, like pet me and like, let's go, champ. Like, this is a war, let's do this, the thing. My fight with the referee was him keep on pushing me back and insisting that I go on the other side of the black line So there is a red spot there. There is a black line, I think it's an octagon. So he says, go back to the other side. I'm like, I'm going to meet the guy here and fight the guy here. Where I start from does really matter. It doesn't matter to me. That's one of the absurd rules. I don't understand that. If we're going to start 1 meter away from each other or 2 meters away from each other or 5 meters away, it makes no difference. At the end of the day, we're going to be 30 centimeters away from each other, smashing each other. So that was my mentality. So that was my talk with the referee. Like, you see, now the guy has to walk up to me here to hug me because you're not starting the fight. You're busy telling me to go back. I don't know why I'm supposed to go back, where I'm supposed to go back, or why I'm start the fight. Start the fight. Let's get this going. But also remember, it's the adrenaline, because with me, I get 1 minute break. That's why I once did an interview and I said to the boys that had fought one night and got tired after 5 minutes, and they came out second round, they couldn't breathe. I said, you know what? I can't come back to fight you. I can't respect you if you're going to sign a contract as a fighter to fight 15 minutes and you can't do 10 minutes. You can't do 5 minutes, but you're signing for 15 minutes. So I said to them, you have to train hard. You have to, when you fight me, you have to be super fit. Like, you can't get tired against me. You get tired, I'll smash you. So I hear one of them got offended, they got angry. I said, you know what, I don't care, but you'll sit one day and understand that I said you're a professional, you signed to fight for 15 minutes, I expect you to be 15 minutes fit and nothing short of that. But when it comes to Antoine, he was there. The punch hit him hard. Why it hit him hard is because he had overcommitted in the right hand, that he hit me on the jaw. So he hit me hard on the jaw. So he overcommitted, I overcommitted. But because he's a wrestler, he bowled his punch and then leaned forward, and I lifted him up. So as soon as he hit me, grabbed my legs, pushed me back on the fence. When I hit the fence, I was like, oh, that was a nice one. I said that to him during the fight. I had recovered. When he was on top of me, I felt him do mistakes with his wrestling, desperately trying to keep me down. And that's why I went under his legs. When I looked up, I could see a whole 2 meters under his legs. I'm like, okay, there's my passage to go out. So I just turn around, I get up, and I knew. So when I was kicking him and he was lying on his back, I could see that he was out of there. So that's why the excitement in round 4, because I saw him give up a little bit in round 3. So that delay to start round 4 was frustrating me. That was the hype and the frustration. Like, you buying this guy time.
Yeah.
This guy is getting extra 30 seconds
of
rest because the referee is doing that, and he's talking to the referee. They're not starting the fight there. So I was like, come on, start the fight, start the fight.
Yeah. It's interesting. And I think you hit the nail on the head. The average person will never understand what it takes to go into a fight. And people think 5 minutes and trying to last a 5-minute round is easy, but trying to last a 3-minute boxing round, even just punching a bag for 3 minutes, it's incredibly difficult. What do you think is the reason why Anthony Morel was so ready to go after round 3? Why do you think he was so ready to just give up the title to you?
He was getting it. The pressure was mounting on him, and he felt I wasn't slowing down. And when he was hitting me, I could feel 2 hard punches, and then he was always getting weaker. When I was trapping him in the body, he didn't like it, and I could see that he couldn't like it. But I say to him, and I still say this, mentally, he was not prepared for me. You see, when he opened his mouth and said, we've watched his fights, we've analyzed them, and then he said, I think it's going to be an easy fight. That's when I knew that, no, he wasn't ready. There is no way you can watch, like you were saying, my fight against Andrew and say it's going to be easy fighting me.
Yeah.
You cannot in this world say that. The moment, even if you say it jokingly, you can't say that. That's one statement you can never say.
Yeah.
The moment he said that, I knew that he's gonna get hit. He's not ready. This one is not ready.
Yeah. I think maybe he also looked at your 6 years out of the cage and probably thought he's going to be slow. You know, he's 41 years old, if I'm not mistaken, you are, and he probably thought this guy's never going to last 5 minutes. And Elvis, to be honest with you, I don't think a lot of the MMA community did, and you really shocked the entire MMA world with your win. And we can't wait to see what you do next. And we're going to touch on that just now. But for me personally, watching that fight, your interview afterwards, Elvis, you said you were over 150 kgs 3 months before the fight. How on earth did you manage to lose all of that weight in 3 months?
I was 154.
Oh.
So my own mistake was I believed I was I believed I was 24 kgs fat, and so I believed that I was dealing with 10 kgs. So I thought the weight will quickly rush down. I'll get to start at 130, 129, and then I'll deal with that. That wasn't the case. That way, it got stuck at 146. Got stuck at 140. I remember I trained for 2 weeks, just trying to see 139 on the scales.
Sure.
I got to 131. I trained another 3 weeks, trying to see 129 on the scales. I trained for a week. I finished at 126.2. And I was eating yogurts, breakfast, lunch, and supper.
Sure.
Boiled eggs, breakfast, lunch, and supper. And I came back weighing 128.6. I almost cried.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah, like this, I'd say it is all in the mind. So I made my diet and I said, you know what? A strict diet, carnivore diet, and then yogurts mostly. Like I only ate meat when I was craving salt, but I managed to go 3 days on breakfast, lunch, and supper for yogurt, only
Sure.
yogurt.
Sure.
Yeah, and I was training 2 sessions a day.
Sure.
Running 4 kilometers on either sessions.
Sure.
So that's how
So
I made
8 kilometers a day, and then
Yes.
2 sessions a day, only on yogurt.
Only on yogurt.
Sure, that's seriously impressive. What's the go-to yogurt flavor, Elvis? Are you a strawberry man?
I'm a vanilla person, but because of the stomach being bloated, the strawberry would like clear it,
Yes, I
and then the
understand.
plain yogurt will take the appetite off like completely.
Yeah.
So I ended up being a yogurt specialist. So I'll take the plain yogurt and put 2 scoops, and then take the vanilla and put 1 scoop, and then take the strawberry and put 1 scoop, and then I come with my own design. I was a specialist. I became a specialist in it.
Sure. That's hilarious.
And I
That's
don't want to see
hilarious.
that for the next 3 months.
That's hilarious. That's hilarious. What was your first meal after the fight? Now that you had made weight, you won the title. What was the first thing you ate?
After the fight is not that important, but after weigh-in,
Yeah.
I had a Chilean soup, which is made, it's like barley soup, but you put rice, chicken, beef, potatoes, spinach, but you grind it to soup. So that's the thing I put on the thing. But I went to my tradition, pap and meat.
Beautiful.
Pap and meat. I think
Beautiful.
I think between weigh-in and the fight, I had maybe 7 to 8 plates of pap.
Sure, sure,
Yeah.
sure.
I
So that's
needed
the
my cups
secret,
back.
eh? That's the secret.
I needed my cups back. I needed my cups back.
Yeah, that's the secret. I think then before every title fight, every EFC title challenger or champion should have 5 or 6 plates of pap, and then they will be able to go 5 rounds.
Yeah, but remember also my stomach was closed because of not eating and over
For
dieting.
sure. For
So
sure.
the 6, 7, 8 plates I ate were like small portions, but
Okay.
constantly just eating them like non-stop, like just eating them. If there's a small gap open, I take the pap and eat.
Yeah. Well, it obviously helped you, and you looked great. You look great in that fight. And let's talk about what's next. All right. After the fight, at the post-fight press conference, you faced off with Triple H. All right. Now, my opinion, Elvis, my controversial opinion. All right. I don't think that Triple H deserves a title fight against you. I personally don't. I would love to see you fight an international opponent, somebody that the EFC goes and finds from another show in Europe, Canada, maybe even in the United States. I know that you and Triple H have some beef and you have some history, and that's what you want to settle. I just don't think he deserves it. Are you looking at giving him the next title shot?
I'm looking at fighting him. I say to him, it's not about the title. And EFC and MMA master, they make the rules. If they say that it doesn't deserve to fight for a title, I'll put it on the side. But if they say that I can't fight him, then me and them are going to have a problem, because me and him have to fight. Me and him have to fight. Whether we have to fight. So I say to them, listen. There was an issue with Dan Van Eden, and the MMA fans lost a huge fight because of the discrepancies. And I believe if they had said the same thing and said, you know what, Danny, with these we can't put the title on the line, but for breaking rights you guys can fight, because we want to try and get rid of this thing that just happened, so that, no, listen, we're against it, but also you're an athlete, you're doing whatever you're doing. So of that, Triple H doing and coming from where he comes from, I don't mind putting my title on the line with him. I don't mind if he can do and pull immediately and beat me and win the title. I don't feel bad. I know that he has to pull immediately. He has to do something special to do that. That means he would have done something special. He will be deserving. I promise you, he fights me, he beats me, and he becomes champion. He deserves it.
Okay.
I don't mind putting the title on the line, but also if EFC says, listen, with our rules and regulations, they made me jump. I had people complain and say, no, how can he come from there and then jump into the main fight? He's the main fight. He's fighting for a title. I got that opportunity. I won't stop another man to get from that opportunity. I got the opportunity and I delivered. I don't hear anyone complaining now. I don't hear anyone complaining. Everyone is complaining. They're quiet now. They're not complaining, because I went in there and I delivered. And so I'm not going to stop him from getting the same opportunity I got. I mean, it's not fair. But if they have reasons that they can still convince him to fight me, I'll still take that. Whichever way, the fight has to happen. Like, the fight has to happen. And if AFC lets that fight go, that will be another mistake.
Yeah, I do think it would be a great and entertaining fight. Do you think we'll see that before the end of the year, Elvis?
It has to happen before the end of the year. At West, I think it should be considered August, September, October. They really need to consider that fight. I know it might be spectacular for them to close the year with it. But I don't think I want to sit more than 6 months not fighting again. Like, I really don't want to do that.
Okay.
But I know that they because I saw the last event they did in December, it was like, wow.
Yeah.
Or maybe they might have that mentality and say, you know what, let's make it big, let's do that. But I haven't spoken to them, so me and you are just speculating here
For sure.
and saying what might work. But if they are in a hurry and considering it nicely, I think, I mean, September, October is the best days. I mean, it's
yeah. Well, if Graham and Kyra are watching this, I think we should let them know that that fight needs to happen sooner rather than later. I think.
No, that fight is going to happen.
Yeah.
All right. It's going to happen.
Yeah. Well, I'm looking forward to that one, Elvis. Before we wrap it up, I want to just ask, is there anybody that you maybe want to give a shout out to, or anybody that you maybe want to thank for, their help during your camp or their support over the last few years, your sponsors? Now's the time you can give them a shout out if you want to.
Yeah, I appreciate my champ. So basically this fight and the win and everything, I dedicated it to my sponsors, my training partners. So my trainer, Mashas Diaz, Van Dambui, Temba Kumalo, James Gamel, the boy, Renee, he's a boxer, he's upcoming, he's going to be a good boy, you'll see him. He helped me out in sparring, but the sponsors, man, these guys, they carried me through a lot, and I've been posting them every day. They know how much I appreciate, and it also serves me to call them here natural mineral water, AFCO, there's Iron Brew Nutrition, there's Semata Foundation from Namibia, Nixon Semata, there's Shanali, and there's Richway Race Bar. I can't even I really appreciate this. VIP 111 Security, there's Quad International, there's Leo Close and his family. I don't know how to explain this. I've got people that I come with from way back, and those people were going off their way to say, Champ, are you okay? I say, yes, I'm okay. How is the camp? I say, yeah, Champ, I came into 3 grand. Can I send it to you, boost your camp? And I say, my champ, I need to go to the gym. I need to go and buy the yogurts. And because the family now, I didn't want them cooking in the house, because every time they are cooking, I have to sit through 1 hour of a very, very nice smell. So I said, you buy takeaways, you eat fast, you finish, you clean the dishes, and you leave me and my yogurts alone. So yeah, that's the thing. But I explained to my champ, there is 1945 in 4 weeks, there is a restaurant. Ricardo da Costa, my boss, one of my bosses I work for, there's my champ, there's plenty, but I really appreciate them. I dedicated this victory to them. They believed. I had more than 90% people. You might be one of them. You saw me during Van Damme's fight and said, Elvis can never make fight weight. Don't tell me you believe that I can make fight weight.
No,
when
I didn't.
I was fighting and you look at me climbing the ring, you look at me like, no, I can never make fight weight. So that's the thing. Yeah, it's so many people that didn't believe that I can make fight weight. But these people I just mentioned, the moment I said I'm fighting, they got so excited. Every day they were excited. Every day they were an inspiration. They send me a message in the morning. I get inspired, let me go and run. Sometimes I'm sitting in the house and I'm like, I send it, my chef a message and say, you know what, my champ, fuck me, my body's beaten. Let me just, and then 20 minutes later, I receive a message from someone, champ, you know what, you got this. And I'm like, hey, I can do 4Ks. I get up, put on my suit, my tracksuit, and I go running. I canceled the session in the gym, but I still run just because of those kind of people. So my champ, I promise you, I'm so inspired. If I had listed them, I would take 20 minutes just calling out the names here.
Yeah, I think it's incredible that you've been able to create. It sounds like you've got a family behind you, Elvis. It really does, and I think these people are going to going to drive you to a successful title defense when the EFC does book you versus Triple H. We're going to wrap it up for this evening, Elvis. I want to thank you for your time as well. And I also want to say thank you to you for being a huge inspiration for a lot of people, not just young fighters, but I think for people who have also had doubters and for people that have had people not believe in them. I think what you did on Thursday night has done a lot for the MMA world, but I think for the people of South Africa and maybe the people of Zimbabwe as well, it's inspired them and it's inspired us all. So I want to say thank you to you for your time. And I want to say thank you for all that you do and all you continue to do as well, inside and outside the cage.
Blessings, my champ. Thanks to you. Thanks to your viewers. MMA world, I appreciate, and I'm glad you guys were patient. And to those that are negative and are always hating, I want to say I appreciate you guys. My mind is stronger than that. So I get inspiration from that. I know that people always make fun of these ridiculous beliefs people make, that somebody says, no, when the team is playing and this happened, this needs to happen again for our team to win. I'm that kind of person. These people that say bad things, negative things, they inspire me. But those are my proudest people, because every time they say those things, they don't break me. They make me want to go there and deliver. And when I do that, I don't have zero insults for them. I've actually stopped some of my fans responding bad to those people on internet and said, don't do that. That's my inspiration. Don't break him. Let him say what he wants to say. I appreciate that. So I'm saying to them, please keep doing what you're doing. I appreciate.
Yeah. All right, Elvis. Well, thank you so much. And you've got an incredibly strong mindset, and I can't wait to see you fight again towards the end of this year. Okay. Thank you so much for your time, man.
Blessings, blessings, blessings.
All right, man. Take it easy.
Cheers.